Fox News is America's election headquarters, and Hillary Clinton is embarking on a three-day trip through New Hampshire and Iowa as new polls show mixed results for her in those early voting states. In Iowa, Mrs. Clinton maintains her lead with 47% of likely caucus goers. Senator Bernie Sanders stands at 36%. But it's a different story in New Hampshire. Sanders maintains a 9-point lead there with 48%. Mrs. Clinton trails with 39%. Joining us now, Bret Baier, the anchor of Special Report. I suppose it's no surprise that Bernie Sanders is doing better since in New Hampshire, since he comes from the neighboring state of Vermont, right, Bret?
Well, there's that, John, but there's also the fact that he is just somebody new and different for New Hampshire. They are into this independent thought. They are into authentic politicians. And Hillary Clinton has had a tough time there, even though she won back in 2008. Expect her to be on the trail a lot in coming weeks, and also expect her to start differentiating herself with Bernie Sanders. I think that this very forceful call for gun control legislation is one of those efforts where she's trying to drive a wedge. Bernie Sanders has some issues in the fact that he's from Vermont, a rural state, and he hasn't always been pro-gun control. And that puts him at a different spot, being the kind of leader on the progressive side of the party.
And despite her numbers, she has some issues with her favorability rating in both those states. 35% favorability rating in Iowa. 59% of the voters there, according to the latest polls, view her unfavorably. In New Hampshire, she's got a 23% disadvantage in the favorability unfavorable statistics.
Right. And it's a big deal. I think a lot of that comes from the email investigation and the drip we've been talking about in the new investigation points that the FBI and all of the different explanations she's given. This morning on the Today Show, she gave a different explanation about who chose, saying that she chose, which was work and personal emails. Just a couple of weeks ago, she said on Meet the Press that she didn't want to look over the shoulder of her lawyers making those decisions about what was work and what was personal. We're still seeing new emails come out. So I think that those favorable, unfav numbers come directly from that investigation. I think you're going to see a lot more of those appearances like Ellen, where she's dancing, like Saturday Night Live, where she's Val the bartender, joking around. Those things are good for Hillary Clinton to try to turn those numbers around.
Yeah. And meantime, she's got the specter of Joe Biden still in the room. The political world is wondering whether or not the vice president might enter the Democratic race. As he weighs his decision, there are questions about how much he could hurt Hillary Clinton's campaign. When you add Joe Biden to the mix, he seems to take away more votes from Hillary Clinton than he does from Bernie Sanders. Bret.
Yeah, not surprising, and the going bet is that he will get in. That's at least the Washington whisper, and a decision within 5 to 7 days. That would put the decision before the Democratic debate, the first Democratic debate in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's not expected to be in that debate even if he gets in, but the going bet is he does get in. And that changes the whole dynamic on the Democratic side, and really a battle over support in not only Iowa and New Hampshire, but also South Carolina, where Biden could do well.
Mrs. Clinton has been waiting really since she got out of the race in 2008 for this moment, and everybody presumed she would be the front runner, but she has showed surprising weakness as a candidate, and that's got to be pushing at least the interest forward for Joe Biden.
The fact that Bill Clinton is hitting the campaign trail tells you all that you need to know about the state of the Hillary Clinton campaign, and that they are really in a full court press to get back on the positive side and positive stories, as opposed to this email story that continues to dog her.
Then, of course, there's the fundraising, in which Bernie Sanders did almost as well as she did in the most recent quarter. Bret Baier. Bret, thank you.
See you, John.
It's fitting that we should go to this topic next, that the media seems obsessed with the idea of Joe Biden running for president. That's because it's a little bit of a tease right now. We don't know what he's going to do. Well, now insiders say he's getting closer to a decision, and our media panel is going to weigh in on this whole back and forth next.